Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good morning to all of you. Thank you very much, our moderator and every member of different faith, and especially the International Institute of Advanced Islamic Studies to have such an event where we need it the most. As our moderator have introduced me, my name is Mohammad Noor. I am a Rohingya. I was born a stateless, and I know how it feels like to be a stateless and not to be recognized anywhere, so that you are off the radar. Going to a school, going to a hospital, going to any institution is a project by itself because you can't access, where millions and millions of people take it for granted. So having the duration time, I will divide a few things here. Of course, Mr. Richard has explained in a global context what is refugee and how it all comes together and how it's all formulates, how all we need to be taken care of. I'm going to go into a specific problem which is faced by the Rohingyas. I'm very sure there are our brothers facing in Syria, in Palestine, in Iraq and Kashmir and so on everywhere. So Rohingyas are basically now been made stateless for the last 3 to 4 decades, which has led to many different problems that a lot of people might not actually realize it. So there is a difference between a refugee and a stateless. A refugee is a person who just came or across the border from a persecution or from a life-threatening situation, and now he needs of shelter, food, health, and so on. A stateless person is a product of the refugee itself, like those people who long ago went out from Burma, like those people who migrated to Malaysia, to Bangladesh, to Saudi Arabia, to Thailand, and their children are born there, and their children are born there. So they are not directly in need of any like shelter, house and all this, but they are stateless. So Rohingyas are now facing a multi-generation statelessness, which is not being addressed in many contexts. So one of the arguments that I would like to present here is that the international community, the NGOs and all this, trying to pressure Burmese government to take the people that came out from Burma. What about the people that born in Malaysia? What about the people born in Saudi Arabia? So Burma is not even willing to accept those people who born on Burmese land or who just came out 2 months ago from Burma. So they are just willing to take the media bullet, you know, for a couple of another decades maybe, so to eradicate all those people who born in Burma. And now the problem now will be on those people who born in Saudi Arabia, who born in India, who born in Thailand, who born in Malaysia. They will say, this is your problem, it might come. So the worst is about to come more. I know Rohingya situation is in the worst situation, but it's not going to end there. It's going to come more and more. So this is one where a community, a multi-generation statelessness people have been deprived from education, from healthcare, and so on. So these communities are literally made to be survived on handouts, on helping on other hands. So this is not a sustainable solution. We need to empower Rohingya people. We need to empower them, bring them into financial inclusion so that they can actually work by themselves. So as today you can see, most of the Rohingya fathers have to beg to feed their children. This is not a dignified way of living. A dignified way of living is to give them an opportunity like the others so that they can have a dignified life, they can earn their living with a dignified way so they feed their children, then they can look into the future of the children. So today we are now in a phase of almost third generation of statelessness. There are people in Saudi Arabia, more than 300,000 Rohingyas. There are more than 40,000 in India, and over 1.3 million people in Bangladesh, and then we over roughly 150,000 here in Malaysia and in Thailand and many. And many of the Rohingyas now, according to our estimate in different countries, there are more than 40,000 Rohingyas are locked up outside Burma, in the detention camp, in the refugee camps, in prisons because of the passport, because of the document. So there's a multi-layer problem that is really exists. We really need to look into it. So it's one of the most devastating situation that Rohingya face. But today, when a humanitarian crisis has struck anywhere, when a person has been persecuted under the context of nationalism, under the context of faith, so every human should be threatened. Because if it happens to them, it can happen to you. If it happens to him, it can happen to me. So that's why whenever the security, the faith is been used in the wrong context, the nationalism has been used, we all has to stand up to protect ourselves. We cannot say that it is not our problem. But somehow, as Mr. Richard has said, this is our problem. It is here. Everybody is with it. Everybody is in it. So we have to solve. So the next thing that I would like to mention before I finish is that I am the co-founder of the Rohingya project. So I would like to introduce what is the Rohingya project. So Rohingya project, in a simple answer, is like an antidote or antivirus of the problem that is faced by the Rohingya in certain contexts. One of the contexts is that if you look into it, as Rohingya, the stateless people especially, they are not allowed to get access into education system. I'm not talking about any specific countries, but in general, in countries that Rohingya exist, they are not allowed to access into education system, they are not allowed to access into healthcare system, and they are not allowed to participate in any financial services. So Rohingya project would like to bring a solution to it, and one of the core issue to that is that a state-backed identity. So identity can be classified into many different identity, like a personal identity and like a government identity and all this. But government able to have a kill switch for the Rohingya. So we Rohingya have been a part of the Burma, not only after the democracy, but long before the democracy, like the Japanese War and the British War before 1942 and so on. And we were a member of Burmese society all the way until 1982, where they started a kill switch, says that Rohingya is from today delisted from the ethnic minority. That's where we all dead. That's where we all been killed. That's where we all been off the radar. But now, the problem is now got into so much complicated. That's why identity is one of the core issue of the problem. So what we like to do is, the way technology has revolutionized the world, there was a time when you want to send out a video in a national TV, you need to know someone and he need to know someone else to get to an editor to get your video published. But today, if you have a mobile phone and you have a YouTube, you can be next celebrity, you can be next star. So technology has break a lot of bureaucracy, a lot of all this multi-layer bureaucratic problem. And today, those was the days when you can't even send a message to a person above you. Today, you can send a message, a tweet to a president, to anyone in the world. Whether they look at it is a different matter. So technology has brought many solutions. So in the Rohingya project, we are trying to propose a solution called the blockchain technology, where blockchain technology has implemented so many things. One of the currency, cryptocurrencies, and then so many other applications are there. But blockchain is a technology, it's called a decentralized technology that caters and used for many various things. So we would like to bring a solution into the Rohingya community using a blockchain technology, where a digital access key will be given for the Rohingya community to access a financial platform where there will be many financial applications, such as banking institution will be involved, P2P lending will be involved, microfinancing for the small projects. This is where we are talking about the sustainability. This is where we're talking about the importance of giving a tool for sustainable things. That's how. So the core issue is a digital access or a digital identity to access into the financial platform where people can operate many different type of things. So before I'm moving on from that particular topic, I just would like to give an example how difficult it is for a Rohingya to participate in current economy. There are many Rohingyas who have managed to get through, some get some of the basic education through UNHCR school or through many NGO school and all this. So these people sometimes are being hired by the international media like Al Jazeera, Reuters and all this. So sometimes when they are asked to do a service like a translation, I'm just giving an example, like a translation, once the translation has been done, if they want to pay from New York to Kuala Lumpur, from Berlin to Bangladesh, even Western Union does not accept money for the Rohingya people. That's how it is difficult. Forget about the banking institution, just a P2P money remittance are not allowed because of the legal issue and because of the bureaucratic wall and so on. So we're trying to break that financial barrier using a digital access key to a digital platform where range of financial things, and later on through this digital access maybe we will open to many different institutions like education and so on, but not limited to the Rohingya. Once we are done with the Rohingya project, there are many other stateless people, our brothers and sisters all across the globe, where we would like to give this open source solution to the rest of the world where refugee can participate, where stateless people can participate. So I'd like to end, so this is the project is all about. If you want to know more, maybe we can talk after the session. But I would like to end with a few words, which is very important. Every religion is like a flower, and these flowers should not be, smashed because you don't like it, because this faith doesn't like that faith. So it's like God has created this beautiful garden, and each religion is a flower of a different color and smell and shape. So to make a garden, you do not need just leaves, but you need different type of flowers and colors and shapes. So we are the flowers of that garden, and we are the guardians. So we need to guard our garden so that this can prosper for our next generation. Thank you very much.